Close your eyes for a second and picture this. A company where the janitor, the receptionist, the manager, the engineer, even the CEO, all come to work each day, not just to do their job, but to make it better than yesterday. Nobody waits for a special meeting or a big boss to approve $1 million change. There's no dramatic overhaul. No expensive consultants in shiny suits. No 5-year transformation plan. Instead, it's all about tiny daily changes. One employee notices a tool is hard to reach and moves it closer. Another figures out how to save 5 seconds during a packaging step. Someone else changes the way they send reports to make them easier to understand. These seem like nothing, but when everyone is doing this, every single day, something magical happens. The company starts running smoother, mistakes go down, efficiency goes up, and over months and years, these little tweaks add up to massive success. This isn't a fairy tale. This is real. This is Kaizen, the Japanese secret behind the rise of companies like Toyota, which went from almost bankrupt after World War II to becoming one of the biggest and most respected automakers on the planet. And the best part? Kaizen isn't just for factories or big companies. It's for you. Yes, you watching this right now. Whether you're a student, an employee, an entrepreneur, or just someone who wants to live better, smarter, and happier. Today, we're diving into Kaizen, The Key to Japan's Competitive Success by Masaki Imai, a book that doesn't just explain Kaizen, it unlocks it. Stick with me for the next few minutes, because what you're about to learn could completely change the way you work, live, and grow, one small step at a time. What is Kaizen? Let's start with the basics. Kaizen is a Japanese word made up of 2 simple parts. Kai means change. Zen means good, or for the better. So when you put it together, Kaizen literally means change for the better. Sounds simple, right? But here's where it gets really interesting. Most people think success comes from big, bold moves, like launching a new product, switching careers overnight, or making a sudden lifestyle transformation. But Kaizen flips that idea completely. Instead of chasing quick fixes or giant leaps, Kaizen teaches us to focus on something much more powerful. Small, steady improvements made every single day. Let's break that down. Kaizen isn't just a productivity trick or a management technique. It's much bigger than that. It's a mindset. It's a culture. It's a long-term way of thinking. It's the belief that you don't have to be perfect today, just a little better than yesterday. And tomorrow, you'll get a little better than today. Step by step, 1% at a time, day by day. Imagine improving just 1% every day for a whole year. By the end of that year, you'd be 37 times better than when you started. That's the compound power of Kaizen. Kaizen doesn't care if you're rich or poor, experienced or a beginner, a CEO or a student. It just asks you to do one small thing better today than you did yesterday. That's why Japanese companies didn't just bounce back after World War II. They became global powerhouses because they didn't rush. They didn't panic. They practiced Kaizen, slow, thoughtful, everyday improvement. And it made them unstoppable. So the next time you think, I need a big idea to change my life, stop. And instead ask, what's one tiny improvement I can make today? That's the heart of Kaizen. And that's where your real transformation begins. The clock to the end of World War II. Japan's cities were destroyed. Factories were gone. The economy completely shattered. The country was in survival mode. And Japanese companies were not competing to win. They were trying to stay alive. At that time, the Western world, especially the US, was booming with mass production, heavy machinery, and huge corporations. Most people expected Japan to simply copy what America was doing. But Japan took a different path. Instead of chasing big, they focused on small. Instead of importing expensive machines or consultants, they embraced a homegrown idea, Kaizen. Let's look at Toyota, one of the best examples of this. In the 1950s, Toyota wasn't a giant. It was struggling. It didn't have the money to waste. So they needed a strategy that was cheap, practical, and long-lasting. What did they do? They didn't bring in outside experts to fix problems. They turned to the people already inside, the ones who knew the work better than anyone. Factory workers were asked, what's slowing you down? Line supervisors were asked, what tiny change could improve quality? Even janitors were encouraged to suggest better ways to organize tools, space, and workflow. Here's the crazy part. Everyone's input was respected. No matter your title, if you had a useful idea, even a tiny one, it was listened to, tested, and if it worked, it was implemented. One worker might suggest putting tools on a rolling cart instead of walking to get them. Another might say, why not label these parts more clearly? And little by little, day after day, these micro improvements started stacking up. Over the years, this approach created a system so smooth, so efficient, and so flexible that Toyota became a global benchmark for manufacturing excellence. Today, Toyota is not just a car company. It's a philosophy, a living, breathing example of what happens when Kaizen becomes part of a company's DNA. And here's what's even more powerful. Kaizen wasn't just cheaper, it was more sustainable. It didn't rely on outside help. It built strength from within. And most importantly, it made every employee feel valued, respected, and responsible for success. This created a sense of ownership. When people feel like they matter, they work differently. They care, they improve, and they grow. Not just the company, but themselves too. So while the rest of the world was chasing big revolutions, Japan quietly created a silent powerhouse, one tiny step at a time. That is the true power of Kaizen. Would you like me to continue with the next part, like applying Kaizen in daily life or Kaizen versus innovation? Absolutely. Here's a deep, relatable, and crystal clear breakdown of the section. Kaizen is a mindset designed to educate and entertain your YouTube audience aged 16 to 40. Kaizen is a mindset. Here's where most people get Kaizen wrong. They think it's just a business technique, a checklist, something you apply when things are broken. But Masaki Imai, the father of modern Kaizen, says, Kaizen is not a tool, it's a mindset. Let that sink in for a second. Kaizen is not something you do once. It's something you become. It's a way of thinking, a lens through which you see the world. Let's break down what this mindset really looks like. 1. Focus on process, not just results. Most people are obsessed with outcomes. Did we hit the target? Did we make money? Did we win? But Kaizen asks a different question. How did we get there? Because when you only chase results, you miss the real learning. But when you improve the process, the good results come automatically, and they last. For example, instead of asking, why did we miss the deadline? Kaizen asks, what part of our process caused the delay? Fix the process and the results will follow. 2. Ask why 5 times. Ever heard a kid ask why again and again? Annoying, right? But also brilliant. In Kaizen, there's a famous practice called the 5 whys. The idea is simple. When something goes wrong, don't stop at the first answer. Ask why 5 times to find the root cause. Example, the car won't start. Why? The battery is dead. Why? The alternator isn't working. Why? The alternator belt is broken. Why? The belt wasn't maintained. Why? There's no maintenance schedule. Boom. Now you're not just fixing a car, you're improving a system. 3. Don't blame people, fix systems. In traditional workplaces, when something fails, people look for someone to blame. But in Kaizen, blaming is lazy thinking. Kaizen teaches, if a mistake happens, the system allowed it to happen. Instead of punishing the employee, ask, what part of the system failed? How can we redesign it so that this mistake never happens again? This creates a safe space where people can learn instead of hide. Small changes beat big perfection. A lot of people wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect conditions. But guess what? Perfection never comes. Kaizen is all about improving now, with whatever you have. Make it 1% better today. Tomorrow do 1% more. Don't wait to change your entire diet. Start by drinking 1 more glass of water. Don't wait to build a perfect app. Fix that one annoying bug today. Tiny wins build massive momentum. 5. Everyone can contribute. In many workplaces or families, only the leader gets to make decisions. But in a Kaizen culture, everyone is a problem solver. That means the delivery guy, the cashier, the intern, the manager. Everyone is encouraged to notice what's not working and suggest ways to fix it. Because when people are trusted, they rise up. When people are heard, they engage. And when people feel ownership, they give their best. So to sum it up, Kaizen is not about changing the world in one day. It's about changing your mindset so you can make small improvements every day. No matter who you are or what you do, this mindset can turn average systems into excellent ones, and ordinary people into powerful change makers. That's the heart of Kaizen. Yes, even you can do. Want to get fit? You don't need to join a gym. You don't need to run 10 miles. You don't even need fancy workout gear. Kaizen says, start ridiculously small. Just do 5 push-ups a day. Too easy? Good. That's the point. Because the hardest part of any habit is starting. And when something feels easy, your brain doesn't resist it. What happens next? Day 1, 5 push-ups. Day 5, you're doing 8. Day 10, you're at 15 without even thinking. Day 30, you've built the habit of daily movement. And that's how transformation begins. Kaizen turns fitness from a scary mountain into a small step you take every day. Want to study more? Let's say you want to learn a new skill. Maybe it's coding, or English, or history. Instead of setting a big, stressful goal like I'll study 3 hours every night, and burning out by day 3. Kaizen says, just add 10 extra minutes of reading or practice each night. That's it. Not an hour. Not even 30 minutes. Just 10. Why? Because it's small enough that you'll actually do it, even on bad days. And that consistency matters more than intensity. 10 minutes by 30 days equals 300 minutes equals 5 full hours. And once your brain gets used to the habit, you'll naturally do more without forcing it. Want to save money? You don't need a financial advisor. You don't need a 6-figure salary. Kaizen teaches, track just one small expense per day. Maybe it's that 100 coffee, or that one online subscription you forgot to cancel. Write it down in a notebook or app. That's it. It sounds so basic, but over time, this one small action builds awareness. And awareness is the first step to change. After a few weeks, you'll spot patterns like, oh, I'm spending $3,000 a month on snacks. That's half my phone bill. That small daily action opens your eyes and your wallet. Why small steps matter so much. Now you might be thinking, come on, 5 push-ups, 10 minutes, 1 expense? That's too small to matter. But that's exactly why it works. Because small steps don't need motivation, don't feel scary, don't create resistance, and most importantly, they're easy to repeat. And repetition builds momentum. Momentum builds confidence. And confidence, that's where big change begins. It's like planting a seed. You don't see results overnight, but if you water it daily, it grows. Kaizen is not about quick wins. It's about lasting transformation through consistency and care. So whether you want to wake up earlier, eat healthier, improve relationships, or start your own business, the Kaizen way is simple. Break it down. Make it tiny. Do it daily. Because when done right, small improvements compound into massive sources of continuous growth. All right, so we know Kaizen means change for the better. But how does it actually work in real life and business? Let's now explore the key principles of Kaizen, the actual practices that made Japanese companies world-class, and that you can apply in your own life too. Think of these principles like tools in a toolbox. Each one helps build a stronger system, whether it's your study routine, your business, or your daily habits. 1. Standardize your work. Have a clear routine or method. Kaizen starts with creating clarity. You can't improve something if everyone is doing it differently every day. In business, this means documenting best practices, whether it's how to answer customer calls or how to package products. In daily life, it means having a daily routine. Want to work out every day? Choose a fixed time. Want to study more? Fix a study slot, like 8 to 8:30 p.m. every day. A clear, repeatable process makes it easier to improve over time because you're not starting from chaos. Standardize before you optimize. 2. Measure what matters. Track small improvements. You know what they say, what gets measured gets improved. Kaizen teaches us to track progress, but not in a stressful, data-heavy way. Instead, measure small, relevant things. How many push-ups did you do this week? How much money did you save today? How many minutes did you read? Even in companies, Toyota tracks the number of defects per hour, not just sales at the end of the month. That helps them fix problems before they grow. The key is not perfection, it's awareness. When you track your actions, you start to notice patterns, and that gives you power to make smart changes. 3. Involve everyone, not just managers, every team member. In the West, big decisions are usually made at the top. But Kaizen flips that idea. It says, the people doing the work often know the most about it. That's why in Kaizen-based companies like Toyota or Sony, even a janitor or factory worker is encouraged to suggest improvements. Why? Because everyone has ideas, and sometimes the best insights come from unexpected places. In your own life, this means ask your team, your family, your friends, how can we improve this? Kaizen is not a solo act. It's a team culture. Improvement grows faster when everyone waters the plant. 4. Respect people.